I have not finished a single book in July, which is the first month of my prioritising and reading my physical TBR challenge to myself. So at the beginning of the year, I set myself 3 reading goals. 1, to read 26 books for 2026. 2, to be more intentional with my book buying. And 3, to prioritise my TBR by reading them by any means necessary, whether that be physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks, because physical books don't always work that well for me. We're at the end of July, and yeah, I have not completed a single book this month. And honestly, I'm not that sad. What I have done is start 2 new books. We have started Dreadful. Oh, there we go. We have started Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis, which I am listening tangentially through audiobook and physical. I am currently at a really bad secondhand embarrassment moment in the audiobook, so I've had to stop reading it, and I need to find my place in the physical book so I can get past that, because obviously that's how we deal with this. Honestly, because of the second-hand embarrassment moment, I picked up a new audiobook, which is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. I am absolutely loving this book. I don't know whether you have seen, but I posted a short talking about it, or more about the discourse around it and the fact that loads of people say, oh, you have to read the source material in order to be able to understand this. Honestly, I don't agree with that. I genuinely think as long as you have a basic level of understanding of hell, and I don't think you even need to understand Dante's Inferno, to be fair. I have never read Dante's Inferno. I want to, but I've never read it. I think a light level of understanding of Greek mythology, honestly, just listen to Hades Town, the musical, and you probably got all of the understanding I think you need for this book. But I haven't finished it, so I will let you guys know if I do come a cropper of it, but I'm honestly not expecting to, because it is just quite well written, enough that you don't need to. But anyway, where was I? So those are the 2 books I have picked up to read this month, or have been reading this month, and we have a few days left of July, but I don't think I'm going to finish them, so we'll try and finish them in August, where we are over halfway through the year, which isn't terrifying at all. So I should probably say where I am in my reading journey for my 26 books for 2026. I have currently read 5 books, and we will go through them. My little reading trophy cabinet. I am terrible at doing reading journals, although I love the idea of them. So I've made myself a little small one, which is absolutely tiny, and so I don't need to do much writing in it, because I'm also terrible at writing book reviews, which is a really weird thing and funny thing for someone who has been on Bookstagram for 7 years at this point. So the first book I read was back at the beginning of the year. It was literally the first book I read on January the 1st, and that was The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. Honestly, I almost wish I hadn't started with that book, because I love it so much. It is... I've read some really good books this year, and honestly, that is probably my favourite book of the entire year. And I've got a few more books to read before I can really call that, but I don't want to. So the second and third books I read this year, I listened to on audiobook. I've never finished the Raven Boys cycle. To be fair, I listened to the first book back in 2020 or 2021. I remember we were in a lockdown and I was listening to it while tidying my bedroom, basically. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love the Raven Boys so much. But I started reading The Dream Thieves, and I think I burnt myself out a little bit on them, so I stopped. I have now read The Dream Thieves, and I've also read Blue Lily Lily Blue. I am currently partially through The Raven King, but I once again think I burnt myself out a little bit by speedrunning them. and I need a little bit of distance, especially after what Mrs. Stiefvater did to us in Blue Lily Lily Blue. I needed a moment to emotionally deal with that. Thank you, Miss Stiefvater. So that takes us up to 3 books. The next book was, funny enough, also an audiobook. This is a theme because I can listen to audiobooks a lot quicker than I can read a physical book, although I can also read a ebook a lot quicker. Dyslexia, man. So the 4th book I read this year was, there we go, City of Ghosts by V.E. Schwab. You may be able to see from that I did not rate it particularly highly. I will be honest, I think the Harry Potter references really got to me. I struggled with them quite a lot because I'm very much not used to seeing them anymore. Oh, I actually wrote down what year we went to Edinburgh. So, story time. Me and my wife, we went to Edinburgh back in 2021. I planned to read this book before we went to Edinburgh. Needless to say, I didn't read it. I then took it with us to Edinburgh. I also didn't read it. And in the year of 2026, I finally read it, and it took me like 2 days. Okay, maybe it was more like a week. But anyway, because that was listening to it on the way to work. But I've now read it, so yay! I do want to read the second book, and I have bought it on audiobook, which means I have actually added to my TBR, as it wasn't already on there. Which isn't the name of the game. But I bought it before I had decided to go on a book buying ban. So, yeah. So the last book that I have currently read this year, or at least physical books I've read this year, because it should be noted that I read prolifically on ebooks. I read a lot, but the whole point of this year and this challenge is that I don't just read on my phone. I actually read some of these lovely books behind me that I've had for absolute years and don't touch, even though I really want to read them, but my Kindle has lovely shiny new things on them. So I keep reading them because I pay for Kindle Unlimited. I know it's terrible, but I also read loads of small indie American authors who I can't get in the UK without being on Kindle. Back to the 5th and final book I have actually read this year, and that was The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So The Night Circus is genuinely one of my favourite books of all time. As a reader, I find it amazing. I love it. I love the plot. I love the settings. I love everything about it. And then as a writer, I really find Erin Morgenstern's writing absolutely fascinating. So I have been waiting to read The Starless Sea until it felt ready for me. I think Erin Morgenstern's writing is very much a case where you can try it, and I have tried to read it before, and I just couldn't get into it. I really struggled, and I just knew that it wasn't the right time for me to read it. Well, I've now read it, and I love it so much. I will be honest, I probably don't love it as much as I love The Night Circus, but I think The Night Circus holds such a special place in my heart that nothing is going to beat it. I will say I did absolutely love the settings, I love the characters, I love the storyline. I had one little reservation, and I think that's the reason I love The Night Circus slightly more. And I don't want to tell you what it is because I don't want to give spoilers. I'm also really bad at doing book reviews. So where does this leave us? My plan, obviously, for August is to read, well, it's to finish Katabasis and Dreadful. I definitely want to finish this book because I very much started this at the beginning of this month, if not maybe at the end of June. I can't really remember. I don't actually know what I want to try and read next, other than those two. I am such a mood reader, which does make it so incredibly difficult to plan any level of reading. I think the only thing that I've semi-planned is that I'm going to read Ninth House and Hellbent in like September, October-ish time. As in, that's an autumn book for me. Absolutely an autumn book. I think there is something about dark academia books that just feel like autumn. I think the only reason I read The Starless Sea in the middle of summer was because my best friend was down and I needed a book to start. And I have also been working on making a mail club, which I apparently cannot make anything easy for myself. It's like a mail club where the idea of it is that it's part of a fictional secret society which has the archive and an archivist. Every month you get sent a folder of information and a submission from something someone has noticed and sent into the archive. And these are also set in fantasy worlds where there's like magic, there's dragons, and it's also just like about finding curiosity in the world. But I think reading The Starless Sea at the time that I was really starting to think about that meant that it just felt so much like home, which sounds really weird now I'm saying it, but it was true. So it was definitely the right moment for me to read The Starless Sea, which was really nice. So thank you for sticking around. If you have stuck around this long, much appreciated. Hopefully you like hearing me ramble. I think I'm going to try and do one of these long wrap-up videos of what I've read during the month, every month, to try and keep myself on track somewhat. I'm also, I think, going to be posting little videos, so I'm currently counting all of my books on my shelves, because honestly I have no idea how many books are behind me right now. I think I'm currently up to counting of 200 and I have not finished yet, and half of those are unread. So with this reading my physical TBR, I decided it was probably a good idea that I actually know what I'm up against. So I've got a series of at least 2 videos on counting my TBR and also looking at some of my statistics that you can already see from just counting and what's read, what's not read, whether I read hardbacks a lot more or paperbacks. I am pretty sure I can already feel that I read paperbacks a lot easier than I read hardbacks because, once again, dyslexia. God knows what the difference is, but there is apparently for me. I'm also going to be posting some more sewing videos. I have got a mix of long form and short form sewing stuff coming that I just need to get on and film. But now that my best friend is not currently sleeping in my sewing room, I can actually use it again. I've made my first pair of trousers in there since that she went, but I have a plan. I have a cunning plan, and I'm excited to actually start making things in there again. So if you are interested in any of that, please stick around, like, follow, subscribe, and drop me a comment of what you're currently reading, because I'd be really interested to see what other people are reading. Whether are you reading something dark academia like I am, or something light-hearted and comedic like Dreadful, which I will say I highly recommend both of those so far. But yes, I am Novel and Quill on Instagram and YouTube, and I'm Rachel, which I probably should have said right at the beginning, but oh well. Until next time.